Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of With Conviction, a story of hope, horror, and history. My name is Rain, my pronouns are she, her, and I am your GM for this adventure. With me are my routing heroes for this campaign. Why don't you all introduce yourselves?
Hi there, I'm Alice. I play Desdemona Hartwood. Both of us use she and they pronouns. Des is our Roseheart guardian. She's got a kind of gothy, punky vibe, heart of pink. Wouldn't it have been routed if we were the ones being routed? Routing is it's not important. That was just what I was thinking about.
Hi, I'm Skylin. My pronouns are they and them, and I play Chris Whitlock, whose pronouns are she or any. Chris is our extremely sporty magical not a girl who has recently picked up a new way to fire her shots.
And I'm Rob. My pronouns are he, him, and I play Eliza, whose pronouns are she, her. And Eliza is down for the second time in 2 days.
It's been a rough couple of days, yeah. At the moment, it's because you're in a gray. You were just attacked suddenly as you explored this place, and Des, carrying you, ran. Des,
hmm
you are running, and you are running, and these monsters are coming after you, and more of them are emerging from houses and down streets. These things continue to chase you. One of them almost catches up to you, and with a lunge wraps a almost human hand around Eliza's leg and latches on, and as it trips and falls, yanks her out of your arms, and in a second she is swept away as you lose sight of her. That buys you just enough time to escape. And by the time you look back to see where she is, you don't see her anymore. I assume you keep running?
Yeah, if I don't have Eliza, I think I'm gonna take to the sky, see if I can get a little more distance from the ones that are more grounded.
All right. You fly, and you continue to fly. Chris,
Yeah?
you are running. You are running, and in the direction you are running, the houses give way to businesses and parking lots. As you run, you see doors slam shut. You see movement within glass storefronts. What are you doing?
As she's running with doors slamming shut, there's some instinct pulls Chris's feet toward those storefronts, and she takes a careful pass, looking inside the windows to see if there's anything actually human behind them.
Roll inspect.
Please,
Preferably
dice.
not with the cursed dice.
They're all cursed. I don't. If this roll doesn't work, I'm switching to my dice tower. Well, that's a 9 on the dice. Plus 1 is 10.
All right. You see a group of people. People this time. It's hard to make out a lot of details, but you've seen this before. These are people. These are not monsters.
Chris skids to a stop and
You can
turns.
see the tide. Well, not tide. You can see your pursuers moving across the parking lot. You are in full sight of them. What are you doing?
Chris makes desperate eye contact with whoever she can that's inside and sprints away.
A man with widow's peak looks back at you and nods. Are you going to try to lose these things?
Yeah, this is another flee action, but she's also trying to make sure that she doesn't give away the position of the people that are there.
I think something more appropriate to something related to stealth would be more appropriate here. But because of the success of your previous flee action, essentially the fact that you have a head start, I will give you decisive.
Okay. That would be a flat
Also,
roll.
take courage for choosing to protect these people over going to hide with them.
Okay. So we're looking at a flat roll, unless for some reason you would let me use place for stealth.
I don't think that really makes sense. You have the
Yeah.
decisive, so it's +1, but beyond that.
I was thinking about it because it's like, well, we have used Chris's place for her feet before, but that's rough terrain more than stealth. I think I have to use that courage right away. It
Okay.
is currently a 8 on the dice, +1 would be 9. If I change, it's a 5 and a 3. If I change the 3 to a 4, then I've got 9 on the dice to 10. It's a full success, and
Is that what you're
no
doing?
more complications is important right now.
Understood.
So we're gonna do that. That is a 10 total using courage and decisive.
With the full success, not only are you able to lose these things, you are also able to loop back around. And this time, the door is open for you. Do you go inside?
Yeah, Chris ducks in.
There's someone there who closes the door behind you. It's dark in here. You can see rows and rows of bookshelves, a counter, a small, what might have been a cafe, I assume, and a group of people who are hiding behind the bookshelves start to come out. Some of them you can make out details of their faces. Some of them are a little more gone.
Hey, don't come out into the open too much. And keep your voices low.
They stop and they back up.
I think I lost him, but I don't know for sure. I'm Chris. Who are you?
Like I said, I don't believe my name is important.
You
And
fucker!
and that is where we are going to switch to Eliza.
Hmm?
Eliza, you open your eyes. Someone's carrying you.
She realizes, I think, that this thing that's carrying her isn't Dez, and she closes her eyes again.
You close your eyes. The movement continues. You hear the sound of burbling. You feel more than hear an upwards movement lifting you. A door opens and closes. And you're laid down on a couch.
She's still pretending to be unconscious.
You feel a hand laid against your cheek. and then it's removed. And another door closes. Wherever you are, it's silent.
She opens her eyes.
You see an apartment. The flags on the wall, whatever color they might have been at one point, they're now shimmering gold. The same for the couch that you're laid on. There's a coffee table and a small kitchenette. 2 doors leading off into other rooms. And a third that, from the look of it, is the front door.
Is she alone in the room?
You are, yes.
After a moment, Eliza, once again, we see her do the gesture to summon the sword, and nothing happens. She kind of sits up. She pats the spear wound in her side, which has been cauterized. Looks around. What is this place?
A moment after you speak, the door to one of the rooms opens, and the alabaster Faith steps through. Oh, Eliza, you're awake. Oh, thank God. I was so worried. Are you okay? You're not bleeding anymore. Is that... I think that's normal.
Ice is spreading out from around her.
Eliza?
Is Hazel here?
She shoots a look at the other room. Yeah, why? You're not gonna hit her again, are you?
Eliza stands up, a little shakily.
Easy, it's okay. You just...
I've been
hang
through
on.
worse.
And she tries to usher you back to sitting.
Do not touch me. Where's the real Faith? The rest of her?
What? Eliza, what do you... I am real.
Eliza pulls out her phone, turns on the front-facing camera, and shows this Faith what she looks like.
I don't understand.
Eliza just looks around the room. So what's the plan here? You and Hazel just have your own little dimension stuck in the middle of town?
What? What plan?
Yeah. I assume since you went with Hazel instead of me, you must have been in on this. She must have explained everything to you.
I mean, we've been talking, but there's... I mean, the plan is to, at least as far as she said, the plan is to try and find new places to fight the darkness. So if that's the plan, but you don't seem to like that.
If you're Faith, you've never hurt anyone or supported hurting anyone, have you?
No, why would I?
Eliza steps over to the window and pulls back the golden curtain. And she just sweeps her hand over the city.
You look out the window. Out in front of your apartment is a crater. A large alabaster crater at the center of which bubbles a spring of gold that has flooded the crater and flows outward.
Eliza looks upward at the sky, as if she's remembering something, and then turns back to Faith. Well, to blind Faith. Third of Winchester has been pulled into this. How many thousands of people has Hazel done this to? And she just points at Faith.
I don't know. But
how many would be too many? Because the answer there is one.
this is about me, isn't it?
It's about everyone. But yes, it's always been about you, Faith. If you were... You look too much like her.
Eliza! Why won't you believe me? Des,
Yes.
where are you running? Where are you
Good
hiding?
question. I think Des is trying to alternate between like hiding and staying out of the way of like trying to find Eliza while evading the monsters.
All right. Go ahead and roll something related to stealth.
Don't believe I've got any skills related to that.
Well, go ahead and roll. Since you do have that head start, roll with decisive.
Okay. All right. With decisive, that is 9 plus 1. That is a 10.
Very nice. You are able to stay out of the way of these things. You don't know where Eliza is. You try to circle back, and you are able to circle back, but Eliza is gone. It's hard to tell where she went. You see some blood, but it looks like it must have stopped bleeding at some point. You don't know where.
Makes sense. Yeah, I really think that's all Des is focused on is finding either Eliza or Chris.
Okay. Go ahead and roll for search.
In the spirit of being a good player, should I be applying my -1 to research to this?
Research implies, looking through information and books. So unless you're checking a library, which you
Okay.
don't seem to see one, no.
Okay.
Thank you for asking, though.
All right. Well, that is 3.
The dice do not like us lately.
And I am here for it.
I'm
Ooh.
so sorry
pretty-
that my dice curse went to you.
Nah. This is my first bad roll of the session.
You don't find either of them. what you do see is a collection of beasts, of monsters, of these creatures of light that are sort of moving together as a group. Some of them are moving with single-minded focus, others are lashing out at each other, but they are all moving in the same direction, almost like a migration.
Hmm.
Would you like me to come back to you?
Yeah, right now I don't think there's much I can do.
All right. Chris,
I hate this man.
do you say that out loud?
No. That was Chris to Rain, not Chris to the game.
There is a man, lean, with a widow's peak, regarding you amongst this group. What are you doing?
Chris has crossed her arms, folded her wings, and is staring this guy down. She takes a steadying breath. I don't like you, but my team needs me. And if I remember right, you have information that could help my team. So what do you need from me? And she is frowning heavily at the end of that.
I need to know what you know. Starting from the beginning would be a bit of a waste.
I know that there are forces that Eliza calls the twin powers, dark and light. I know that when my magic hit something, I felt like I was awash in the light, and then it all went away and cleared the field. And I know we closed the gray that the rider was in,
Ah, did you now?
and I don't know
Excellent.
what the fuck happened to them. What happens when a gray gets closed to the people inside?
Ah, no, that is a question I can answer. He gestures to move further into the dark interior of this bookstore and sits down on a bench and gestures for you to sit opposite him.
Chris does so with a grimace.
To answer your first question, everything is undone.
That sounds bad.
On the contrary, all of the damage that is done, all of the rampant exercise of the twin powers is reverted back to the moment of the Grey's creation.
And the people who channel that power?
Are typically destroyed by the time that it collapses.
No!
No?
Chris stands up and steps into this man's bubble. She puts her hand on his chest and says, "If that is typical, then I have to be exceptional."
He raises an eyebrow and looks down at it and looks back up at you.
With that same hand, Chris points out the window and says, "That is my friend wielding the light right now."
Ah. I had wondered.
She is my teammate. She is someone I love. I am fixing this. Please tell me how.
It is not unheard of for an avatar to put down the power they wield. But not often, and never without help. The details are vague. Chosen are rare.
Who?
And
What?
chosen, like yourself. A particular class of people who are
Chris frowns.
very exceptional. Nobody is quite sure why you're called chosen. It is a traditional term by this point. It's been handed down for thousands of years through dozens of languages. But regardless, you are exceptional people who are uniquely suited to drawing upon, combating, and neutralizing the twin powers. And your friend Eliza was not the first to use that term.
Chris sits back down. Okay. So there's a chance.
There is.
She takes a deep breath and tells him a little bit more. And by a little bit, I mean she tells him most of the story. She describes the first fight with the gloopy. No, it wasn't gloopy leapfrog. It was
The hand.
the
The
long
long boy.
boy.
Arm. Yeah,
The
long
long.
boy.
It was the tall boy. She describes the fight with the tall, gloopy creature in whatever that den was. She describes the way it felt to transform for the first time.
He
She
starts
talks
taking notes.
through. It's like something has been pent up in her for months. And it all just spills out as the story of how she came to be where she is standing now.
Now, if I'm reading this right, that's going to be about 35 hours of audio.
Oh my god.
She sums it up. She doesn't give the whole story. No, I'm kidding.
Well, time moves differently in a gray.
He listens. He occasionally asks a clarifying question, but mostly he listens and he takes notes. You notice he has a second notebook sitting next to him closed, but this one he seems to have started afresh.
When Chris is done telling everything, you got any water?
I believe
Or is that also... She gestures vaguely. Affected by this?
I'm no Grey Weaver, so I couldn't say for sure. But
Chris's mouth is wide open.
a technical term.
What was the term?
Ray Weaver.
Oh my god.
He stands up and walks to the back, taps the bar on a water fountain, and it flows clear. There doesn't seem to be any corruption as far as you can see.
Chris takes a moment and tries to quench the thirst that comes from telling a long tale.
Quench.
And now the Fae own you.
Continue.
I was gonna say, trying to decide now if Chris needs to burning bright because she drank some water. Okay. So, God, Eliza would have so many questions. What would Eliza ask? How much of it do we have right?
You have most of it.
Why is Jesse important? Or the... Yeah.
I do not know why your friend Jesse in particular. However, what I can tell you is that all chosen have someone or something that they care more deeply about than anything else. And spending time with that tie is healing. To my understanding, it is a sort of grounding effect. However, the exact mechanics I do not know.
You haven't written them yet?
It depends on what this character knows.
I know. I'm just being a shit.
Okay. So... Eliza has faith in Des, her dad, and me, Jesse. Wait, you said that things go back to normal once the gray is closed. So anyone trapped in it would get to live a normal life?
Indeed. As a consequence, they would forget everything that had occurred because, in all technicality, it did not occur.
Even if they're like me?
Yes, even like you. But you can avoid that fate if you desire to remember everything that occurred by leaving the way that you came in. Remaining in a gray while it collapses, you will suffer the same fate as it. But if you leave before it collapses, then you will be safe and unaffected. As a matter of fact, I've been hoping to find a way out myself to some limited effect.
So Tilly doesn't remember us.
It seems unlikely.
As for getting out, Des took some pictures from a sort of hawk's eye vantage point. I don't have them, they're on Eliza's phone. But I remember some of it. The edges of this one are ragged. It's not a square, it's not a rectangle, it's not a circle. But there's no like doorway or portal. You can just walk in and walk out.
Well, the entry conditions for each gray are different.
How did you... Were you here when it was made?
I was. Unfortunately, he gestures to himself. I seem to have lost something in the making. But you seem to be working that out.
I am doing my best. What do you know about how these things are made? And tell me more about avatars, you called them?
Indeed. A gray is what happens when either the light or the dark gain too much purchase. Think of it as a bubble being pulled on from opposite sides. If one of them gains purchase on part of that bubble and begins to pull it away, it will stretch, it will change until there's only a very small neck connecting it to the real world. Often this neck is difficult to find and even more difficult to pass through. That is a gray. Time doesn't pass in a gray in the conventional sense. It is a function of intensity. The more that one of the powers gains a purchase on this gray, the further time will progress. Time may even go so far to progress backwards if it loses purchase without collapsing entirely. It is
Chris's face goes white.
as for avatars. An avatar is someone who is, well, I shan't say in control of one of the powers. It is,
It's a feedback loop, isn't it?
to some extent, they are the power's most potent and loyal servants. You do not become an avatar without bloody-minded determination.
Chris's shoulders slump.
You also do not become one by accident. It takes time to pursue. The powers reach out and tempt. They offer hope. They offer whatever the person is looking for, but ultimately it is up to the avatar themselves to pursue and take hold of what they are offered.
By the time he finishes that sentence, Chris's face is in her hands.
It is not without hope, as I mentioned. It is not perfectly unheard of for an avatar to turn back.
You mentioned help.
There's never been an avatar without a chosen being far away. As you two are talking, another figure approaches you. This one with that same dreamlike fog over her face. Just one in the crowd. Excuse me, are you hungry?
I knew it.
Does Chris recognize the voice?
What is your relationship to Faith?
Friend.
Roll +2.
6 on the dice plus 2 is 8.
The voice is familiar. You know this person. But it's hard to place.
Don't you have a +2 to that?
Do it! God dang it!
God, he's so quick on the trigger. Recognition drives Chris's feet. And Skylar knows this. She doesn't. But recognition is enough with the horror that is this place. You look as bad as the soldiers did. You must have been really close to, or had a lot taken. And she just wraps this person up in a hug.
Oh,
I'm gonna make sure you're okay.
thank you.
I will fix this.
In your promise to fix this, your muscle memory says out loud,
Let's get you back to Eliza. And Chris shakes her head and looks at what could only be Faith. Faith.
you know where Eliza is?
Oh, God, no. Well, not as... Chris wraps Faith up in this hug again. It's not just arms, it's wings, too. And I don't exactly know. She came in with us. We were looking for you.
What?
But,
For me?
yeah, hon. You're part of the team. We love you too much to let it go.
Eliza,
Mm-hmm.
Faith is crying.
Fuck you.
Now, is that the blind Faith in front of me, or is that just intrinsic knowledge of Faith, the real Faith, is crying?
I think it's both.
Yeah.
It's the one in front of you is crying. A door opens. Hey, what? Eliza.
Mm-hmm.
Hazel's standing in the doorway and she's looking at you. She came from the bedroom.
Eliza just looks her in the eye for a moment.
What did you do?
What did I do?
Why is Faith crying?
I don't know. Maybe it has to do with how you tore 5/6 of her out and made this fucking copy.
I'm not a copy! Why won't you believe me? And Hazel just stares at you.
No, I asked Faith a question, but I want an answer from you. And Eliza gestures to the window again. What's your plan here?
She swallows and looks out. To set right what I hurt.
Oh, so you're going to release every fragment of identity that you've taken, collapse the gray, and return these people to their normal lives? Perfect. Let's get started.
And yet you seem to have a problem with it, don't you?
Well, you haven't done that yet.
You know, I thought you would understand. I thought after I came clean, maybe you would think about things for 5 seconds.
Hazel, what was the worst thing that's ever happened to you?
When the dark tried to eat me.
How
When
many
the dark
people...
tore me apart piece by piece. I know, Eliza, I am trying to put people back together, and you have a problem with that. She points at Faith.
I have a problem with the fact that you broke them in the first place.
She just stares at you.
Do we really need to do this, Hazel?
I would like not to.
Then put down the light.
I can't fix all these people. I can't put them back together and give them what was torn apart without it. You want me to fix what I've done? Or do you want me to put down the light? It's one or the other.
What I want is to make sure that nobody else has to go through what you went through. And you are putting thousands of people through that right now. Even her. And she points at Faith. Well, at the blind Faith.
You didn't hear a word I said, did you? You always think that you're right and that everyone else is wrong.
Eliza just steps forward.
You can stay here if you will stop hurting Faith. Am I clear?
I don't want to stay here. But let's say you and I have a problem. What are you going to do? Kill me? Do it. Do it, and then go look Chris in the eyes.
She flinches. Just get out.
No. Not until you give back what you stole. And she points at Blind Faith again.
Both of them stare at you incredulously.
I'm not going to leave until you fix her for real. Not this wretched alabaster copy.
Faith flinches.
Take the fragments out and put them back. I came here to make sure that she would be safe. You can either be part of the problem or part of the solution.
Hazel is frozen, staring at you with anger in her eyes. And Faith is crying. Eliza, please. I'm not a copy. I'm me. Please. Why can't you see that?
All right. I guess we do need to do this. A moment ago, Eliza felt something shift inside her. She stepped forward, and she places her hands over her heart. Rain, will you allow this whole conversation to ping make sure your mortal tie is safe?
I will. Yes.
We see Eliza standing on a black field, her eyes closed. She exhales. A wave of frost comes out of her mouth, freezing her hands in place. Icicles grow outward on her body, covering her from head to toe. And then we see the dark orange glow of fire from within them as the icicle shatters. Frost and fire swirl around her, forming into her outfit. The gray midriff-bearing sleeveless top, the skirt, and the leg warmers. All of them hemmed in that black and yellow hazard stripe trim. Ice solidifies, turning to metal, forming into her wings, and the Doc Martens and leg warmers immediately fuse into those greaves that she's had in previous encounters. Once again, she does that gesture, and her sword forms in her hand, catching on fire in a dark blue glow as she shifts towards darkness. Her wings unfold, fire streaming from them as well, and she raises her sword in a salute, facing towards Hazel.
And that is where we will end this episode.
Hell yeah.
That's perfect.
It is.
Thank you, everyone, so much for listening. Thank you to my players, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Have a good night. Thank you again for joining us on this adventure. With Conviction is a production of Silver Maiden Games. If you would like to play Conviction, check out the game at silvermaidengames.itch.io. Music for the intro and outro of this podcast is A Soul with Conviction by Doom Vega, who you can find on Bandcamp. Music within the episodes is by Rachel Rose Mitchell, who you can find on Bandcamp and Spotify. All rights to the music are retained by their original artist. Production and editing are done by myself and the With Conviction cast. Thank you all. This would not be what it is without you. You can find this podcast on Spotify and YouTube or silvermaidengames.wordpress.com. You can also find more about the game, podcast, and ways to contact us at silvermaidengames.wordpress.com.